Mueller.
We are going into our 2023 season with high expectations and big goals. I think last season we had a fun run at the end and a great finish, but for those of us who were there and are back, that finish it's just not sitting well with us. So, that's really pushed us to have some higher goals for ourselves this year. The team has been working hard. They're really motivated. We are about 2 weeks into practice at this point. 2 weeks from today, we'll hop on a bus and head to Alabama. We've got a tough schedule ahead of us this season. We're super excited about that. And, we've got a lot of experience and returning role players in our junior and senior classes. We've got some great leadership in those two classes as well. So, like I said, a lot of high expectations for ourselves this year.
You could tell us a little bit about some of those key returners. Sydney Illig, Ashley Nelson kind of come to mind, but any other key positions?
Yeah, Sid is a fifth year for us, and it's hard to believe because she has, she's already in the record books so much, but the biggest impact she's made on this program is actually what she's done off the field. She's just such a great leader, such a great teammate, in addition to being a really good shortstop. Hits at the top of the lineup for us, steals a ton of bases. So her leadership and abilities on the field, that's great to have back. Ashley Nelson in the circle, this will be her junior year. And I think, she's got a lot of really good experience under her belt. She's pitched a lot of tough games, a lot of, tight situations, a lot of big pressure moments, and she's continued to learn and grow through that. So, we'll expect her to be as good as she has been for us this coming year. Both Hannah Happ and Lauren Frericks are seniors on our team this year as well, and those two really played a huge role in what we were able to accomplish last year. They both played outfield for us, I think, really almost every game last year. They do great things on the base paths. They hit really well for us as well. So, and just also, you can't say enough about their defensive ability. In our postseason stretch last year, I think that some of the catches those two were able to make probably saved some games for us. So, a lot of great talent in that senior class, and then, in our junior class, we've got Keely Springer. She's been our leadoff hitter. She's a slapper for us. She's just killer on the bases. A problem for any team we face. So that's fun. And we've got Tara Wade in that class, and she pitched a lot for us her freshman year. She didn't really do a whole lot on the mound last year, but was good offensively for us. But she's been back at it on the mound, and we're planning to rely on her to be a big part of our pitching staff this year, as well as a big hitter in our lineup. And we've got Sydney Fellows. She's another one that she gets spot time. She's been the DP. She's played some time in left field, but she does some great things for us. She's a good leader as well. And then, how could I possibly forget to mention Ella Link? She's, returning All-American and a huge bat for us. So, yeah, a lot of really great talent in those two classes.
You mentioned a tough non-conference schedule.
Yeah.
How does that help you play out when it comes to conference time?
Yeah, our conference is just so good. It's year to year, it's every game is challenging. And I think last year when we went into our conference season, every single team in our conference was above 500. I think that very last day of competition in our conference season, there were teams, you could be competing for first or be, pushed out of the top 6 teams and making that conference tournament. So it's always tough. And that's something that, we have to prepare for. And we always take a lot of pride in our strength of schedule. It's, in our region, we've had one of the top 3 strengths of schedule, I think, the past 3 seasons. So, it's something we've grown to love. But yeah, a lot of tough teams on our schedule. I think right now we have 40 regular season games. 19 of our 40 regular season games are against teams who were in the NCAA tournament last year. So we're going to play some tough competition. We're probably going to take some lumps along the way. But our goal is always to be playing our best at the end of the season when it matters the most. So, as long as we continue to grow throughout that time and learn from our mistakes, I think we're going to be in a good position when we need to be.
Speaking of your schedule, your home opener is a rematch of your regional championship.
Yeah.
Was that already on the schedule, or did that happen in the off season, or will that be one of the measuring sticks for the year?
That was already on the schedule. So we planned that sometime like early spring last year, and the MIAC they're in our region, and they've got some good good teams in that conference, and so I've tried for several years to get more of those teams on our schedule, and haven't had much luck, but we were able to get them on our schedule this year, and with the idea that we'll then return the favor and travel there the following year. So they've got a lot of returning players too, and I think that that'll be great competition for us really right before we head into conference play.
Your team was also ranked number 14 in the preseason top 25 poll after ending the season number 17. So what do you think the voters have to say kind of about the depth and strength of your squad this year?
Yeah, it's good recognition, and it was something our team earned the opportunity to be ranked with what we did last year, but ultimately not important, especially where we're at the beginning of the season. But I do think obviously we ended the season well last year, and we have a lot of returners. So I think that's probably what that committee is seeing when they're going through like where we should be ranked. We did lose a couple of key players on our in our senior class last year, but yeah, I think just with the returners that we have and the things that they were able to do last season, I imagine that's why we're right there.
Yes, I have a couple of questions. You've had a lot of success on the road. How do you train your team early in the season to prepare for, especially a long road trip coming up with your games in Alabama and Florida that early in the season?
Yeah, I don't really think we do much different on the road than we do at home. We try to, teach them to have a routine, and as a team, we do the same thing. So regardless if we're on the road or we're at home, the way we're gonna, warm up and prepare for that game is going to be the same. Obviously, with this first trip of the season, there's just naturally some more excitement. We're gonna head towards some warmer weather, which at this point of the year in Iowa is, always something that everybody wants. And we get to play for the first time, as a team. So they've been working hard, and, they've been practicing inside now for a couple weeks with the coaches, but even before that in the off season, like they're working inside. So they're ready to start playing. They're ready to be in the sun. And that trip is also just so much fun for team bonding. There's no stress academically. They just get to be with each other. We stay in these like vacation homes, and they really love it, and they love that time together. So there's a little bit extra excitement that comes with this first trip, and they just want to prove what they've been working so hard for in this off season and this first part of our preseason.
And then some young talent you feel that coming in, that you've seen at practice, that you feel that really can have a breakout season with their first season with the Knights on your roster?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's going to be a little challenging just because we have so many key players in our junior and senior classes. But we do have some younger players who I think are going to need to play a role for us to be as successful as we can be this year. So I talked about 2 of our junior pitchers. The other 3 pitchers on our staff are all freshmen and sophomores. So our 2 sophomore pitchers, we have Kennedy Lape and Hannah Llewellyn. I think they're going to be helpful in coming in and keeping teams off balance. And then Avery Mull is our freshman pitcher, and I think she's going to need to pitch some innings for us too in order for us to get through, especially this first trip. It's 12 games in like a 9-day period. So we're expecting to see all of them on the mound. And then I think we just have some versatile players in our freshman class. So, I think that'll be great if some of the older ones need a break, whether that's just physically or mentally or whatever it is. And I think we're really excited too about Alexis Larson. She's a freshman for us. She's been pretty lethal in the cages lately. So we're excited to see what she can do off of some live pitching and maybe get her, some pinch hit or DP or, some roles like that, and then see where she goes from there.
Talking with you in past seasons, you usually have a mission statement that the team rallies around for the season. What is it for this season?
It's funny that you remember that. Rise together. So the thought with that is, we know that we have a target on our backs, but our expectations for ourselves are going to be higher than anybody else's expectations of us. And if we can have the attitude of yes, there's a target on our back. Yes, everybody wants to beat us. Yes, we're going to get everybody's best game. So what? Let's rise to the occasion and then do that together, stick together as a team. That's how we're going to be successful. So, yeah, rise together.
And that's all the questions I have. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you for your time.
No.